going to see if we can customize the look of our text a little bit more. As you might have guessed, we're going to use a range of tags to do that. So first off, we're going to look at how to make some text bold. And there are two ways that we can do that. The first that I'll show you is the B tag, which, as you might imagine, is short for bold. So if we just pop B and then /B around a certain letter or string of letters, then if we have a look at that, that will come out bold. Fantastic. Simple as that. The B tag is perfectly valid HTML, but generally it's encouraged to use the strong tag instead, which does exactly the same thing, but is a little bit easier to read. So strong just makes it clear in your HTML that you want this to be displayed strongly and clearly and boldly. So you're welcome to use B or strong, and you will see both of those when you're looking at the code of other sites. I'd recommend using strong if you've got the choice. Next, we'll look at italic text. And similarly, we've got two tags that we can use. The first one, just like the bold tag, is I. So there is some italic text. Let's have a look. There it is. So nice and italic. And the second one, so instead of strong, we've got EM, which is short for emphasis. There we go. And again, it looks exactly the same, but it's generally considered better form to use EM, which is slightly clearer than I in terms of its meaning. But you will see both when you're looking at the code of existing websites, and you can use either in HTML5. Next, we'll look at underlining some text. So we'll get rid of our line break, and we'll look at some underlined text. As you might guess, we can use the U tag to underline text. Let's have a little look at that. So we've got underlined text like that. Now the U tag has an interesting history and was actually removed from HTML in version 4.01, but then brought back in version 5. So you can use it. It is valid HTML, but it's generally preferred that we use ints, which is short for inserted, to imply that our underlined text has been inserted into our paragraph. Now, once again, you can use U and you'll see it everywhere, but ints is inserted, and that's what's generally preferred. Okay, just a couple more. We'll have some superscript. So just the same. So superscript means high up in the air, and we use the sup, short obviously for superscript, tag to do that. Okay, quick challenge for you. Can you work out how to do some subscript text? Go for it. I hope you managed to guess that one. It's just exactly the same, but sub instead of sup. So subscript is slightly below the line, and there it is. All right, the last one I'm going to show you is some struck out text, and we're going to do that using the del tag, short for deleted. There we go. So now we have some crossed out text there. This used to be strike in HTML4, but that has actually been deprecated in HTML5, and we now use the del tag. But you may see strike used in websites that you're looking at. Last, I'm going to show you a completely separate tag, which I'm quite keen on, which is the horizontal rule. So again, it's a self-closing tag. It doesn't have a closing element, but it just draws a nice horizontal line. So it's good for adding sections to a page. If we put it in here, for example, we might want to separate the first three from the last three, and that's a very nice way to do it. So again, self-closing in HTML5, you don't need the closing element. If for some reason you're doing XHTML, then you would put the closing bit in like that, and you might well see it like that in some websites, but for HTML5, you should just have the HR. If you want to find a few more different stylings that you can do with HTML, then just go to Google, and very quickly you can get this with HTML formatting, and just click on the top result, which will take you to a website called W3 Schools, which has got a lot of information on basic HTML tags. And down here they've got a bunch of formatting elements, so we've seen quite a few of those, but there's a few even that we haven't seen further down. So we've got small, marked, which is highlighted there, inserted, which we saw, subscript and superscript, etc. So if you want to look more into HTML formatting, you can. But we're actually going to move on and look at lists in HTML. From paragraph tags and look at lists in the next couple of videos. In this video, we'll look at unordered lists. So basically, a bullet point list is what we're trying to create here. And an unordered list we create with the UL tag. So the UL tag creates an unordered list. And then within our unordered list, I'm going to use tab to get it indented again. We have a list item. So I'm going to make a list of my family members. I'll start with me. So that's it. I've got an unordered list at the beginning. I'm closing the unordered list. And then when I want to add a new list item, I just do the same thing. And then we'll add Kirsten in. And then we want another list item. So we'll add Tommy. And finally, Ralphie. There we go. So let's have a look, see what that looks like. Beautiful. So we've got Rob, Kirsten, Tommy, and Ralphie. So that's how you create an unordered list in HTML. Let's have a very quick challenge for you. Can you apply different formatting to each of the 4 elements in your list? You can choose any bit of formatting that you like, but different formatting, bold, italic, etc., to each element in your list. Go for it. All right, hope you managed it. I'll do it something like this. So Rob can be strong. Kirsten can be emphasized. Tommy, very unfortunately, will be deleted. And Ralphie can be inserted. There we go. Let's have a look. There we go. So we can apply this formatting to anything. It doesn't have to be in a paragraph tag as we did in the previous video. Text can be anywhere on our page. Wonderful. So simple as that. That's how we create an unordered list. In the next video, we'll see how to do very similarly an ordered list. Using UL to create the list and then LI to create individual list items. Can you guess how we might create an ordered list? Have a go. I hope you guessed right. All we do is change UL to OL for ordered list, and the same in the closing tag there. And then if we take a look at that, it's exactly the same, except we've got numbers instead of bullet points, so it's ordered. And we can have a little bit of fun with ordered lists, and we can mess things around a little bit. So say, for example, for some reason I wanted to start my list at the number 10 rather than the number 1. I can use an extra attribute, as it's known, in my OL tag to set the start value. So I just use start and then equals, and then usually in quotes we'll put the number that we want to start at. So if I want to start at 10, for example, I just put start equals 10. And a bit like the U tag for underline, start was actually deprecated in HTML 4.01, but it's back in HTML5, and it's supported by every major browser out there, so you can use it quite safely. We can also do a couple of other fun things. We can use reversed in there, and that will do what you might guess, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that does everything in the opposite order. And finally, we can specify the type of ordered list that we want. And there's a few type options. And you can see my text editor here is very nicely giving me the options. So I can use, instead of 1, 2, 3, which is what I've got at the moment, I could use type is equal to A. And that will then, if I save it, give me A, B, C, D. Let's look at the other type options. So we've got capital I there, which gives me capital Roman numerals. There's small I as well, which gives us small Roman numerals. And finally, we've got small a, which gives us A, B, C, D. So a lot of people don't actually know that you can change the type of an ordered list, but you can very easily. All right, that's all you need to know about lists for now. In the next video, we'll go on and see how we add images to our web pages.